My question before we get started is, what is the best show on TV right now, and why is it Mare of Easttown? What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. Mare of Easttown has been premiering on HBO over the last several weeks. Finally watched the finale just a bit late, and I just want to briefly talk about why I believe this show stands out in the year 2021 and why you should binge it on HBO or HBO Max right now. A detective in a small Pennsylvania town investigates a local murder while trying to keep her life from falling apart. And that detective is played incredibly by Kate Winslet, one of the best performances I have seen all year. The stress that she is having to deal with in this show, along with past traumas, combining with the mystery of this entire situation, it's a lot for one person, one character to handle, but Kate Winslet does such a great job of somehow balancing all of this, yet we still get those deeply personal moments with her, and it all kind of culminates with that finale. But we'll get to that here in just a second. She's incredible. The rest of the cast, from Jean Smart to Joe Tippett to Evan Peters, I mean, the ensemble here is ridiculous, and they managed to shine in each and every episode as this mystery engulfs this town. Well, both mysteries, and we're going back and forth between those two storylines, and of course the tragedy of that first episode, getting attached to that character, and then that happens, and immediately I was on board, and I knew this show was going to be something special. That, along with the gorgeous, haunting cinematography, the way that these characters interact, it feels so natural and real. And with a show like this, you want that small town vibe captured accurately. I came from a small town, and I'm looking for those pieces to kind of fit together and feel natural. And I think the fact that they chose a small town to shoot this in, and everyone feels like they fit their role so perfectly, it does indeed capture that. But you have to have a compelling lead character, a compelling lead actor or actress to carry something like this. And this is indeed a character study. Kate Winslet has the ability and opportunity to carry this entire show on her shoulders, and she is so committed to this role. She is essentially trying to balance being a brash character on her surface, but at the same time, she's sympathetic. She has this grittiness that we've yet to see on this level from Winslet. It was nice to see that, and that's why I believe an Emmy nomination, probably an Emmy win, is in her future for this role. And then, of course, the tragedy of it all, of this entire situation. And then getting into the genre. HBO always does a great job with these crime-centric, dramatic, mysterious shows. This is no different, but what's so compelling about this mystery is the fact that I never really honed in on who it inevitably was. No spoilers in this review. In the finale, I would pick someone and say, okay, I feel like it might be this or that person. Next episode, that would completely wipe away. I'd have to start fresh. And I was basically, and you know this is what the filmmakers wanted, I was basically trying to solve this along with Kate Winslet, and nothing was ever too obvious, in my opinion. I mean, you may feel differently, but I never locked in on who it was, and I never really guessed how everything would go down in the finale, and really the last 3 episodes, in my opinion. And the first 4 were really good. It's one of those shows that takes the idea of a slow buildup and really locks in on that. But at the same time, you're learning about each character. You're understanding what their role is in the situation. You're also just kind of like, is it you? Huh? No, not you. Is it you? No, it's not you. Julianne Nicholson is one of those characters that I thought that performance was maybe even on the level of Kate Winslet, and I could say that about 3 to 4 different performances. Everyone is so good in this show, and because everyone's so good, when you're following along, and we're thinking about both of these tragedies, these storylines, the idea of love and loss and who is behind what, and the intrigue of what this show was able to bring us, I was really so locked in throughout this show. Even though the first 4 episodes, it's a lot of buildup, I'm completely okay with that, because the final 3, and I was skeptical going into the finale, I said, episode 7, they have to deliver. Even if it doesn't surprise you, at least intrigues you and allows you to feel a certain way. And for me, the finale did that. My only big thing is that there was a character, maybe 2, that I just feel like didn't quite get the finality that they needed. I'm like, well, where did they go? I wish they could have came back in towards the end. And then you do have the pacing, which may throw a more casual goer off, but if you are locked in by the end of episode 1, then I have a good feeling you're going to be locked in throughout the entire show. I know I was. Part of me wishes I would have done individual episode reviews, but this was one that my wife and I would just tune into, have a lot of fun with, trying to figure out this mystery, get really emotional with Winslet's character, what she has to go through behind the scenes at home, beyond what both of these mysteries entail, and then, of course, seeing that gorgeous cinematography along with the excellent filmmaking from everyone behind this show. Mare of Easttown is a compelling and special show that dives into these characters in a way that feels oh so satisfying. In terms of favorite episodes, 5, 6, and 7, not necessarily in that order. I would go 5 at the top, but either way, it just brings it all home in such a satisfying way, and the subtlety within this show and some of these shots that we get, and again, the emotion, it is absolutely devastating, especially when you look at where everything ends up. I don't necessarily know if I want more, because I thought there was a good sense of finality to it, and I know the filmmakers have come out and said they're not necessarily going to do more. All of that being said, I've got to give you guys my score. Going to 92%. I found so much within this show. It was very satisfying, and what this video is, it's essentially a spoiler-free recommendation video for you all to binge this right now on HBO or HBO Max. I know a lot of people who haven't watched it. I was one of those. It took me a little bit to catch up. Finally watched that finale, but let me tell you, and I do want to give a shout out to everyone on YouTube who has been doing this episode by episode, like a Movie Files. You guys have done an excellent job. I've tuned in a lot of your videos. It was fun to kind of sit back for once and just enjoy it for what it is. And of course, I had to review it eventually. All right, you guys the best. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.